gentlemen. Let's give a big hand for our piper, Lauren Kirshner. Thank you, Sid. I'm your Master of Ceremonies for tonight, Mark Conley of CBC Radio, and a longtime friend of Nick's. Thank you very much for coming to the memorial tonight. I want to welcome Nick's family who've come all the way from England, his brother and two nephews. You're going to meet them a little later. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody who's come here today. Many of you, I know, have stories to tell. It's not an open mic night, just so you know. That'll come later. So we do have a few things to get to, a few people to say a few things. I do introduce, first off, Judy Buttle. Judy and Harry Buttle were longtime friends with Nick and collaborators on various, numerous charity projects. And Judy was part of the committee who helped put tonight's event together, and that was many of the people who walked in tonight were part of that committee. And we asked Judy if she would come up and say a few words to kick things off with a little bit of a prayer.
Thanks. Good evening, Nancy, Jim, James, and Quentin. I don't know where you are, but there you are, okay. And friends of Nick. I'd like to ponder for a few minutes on the meaning of Nick's life and the meaning of our lives, our own lives. Why are we here? What do we learn? What do we leave behind as our legacy? I'm going to read from the Old Testament. Don't worry, this is not a long sermon. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. What gain have the workers from their toil? I have seen the business that God has given to everyone to be busy with. He has made everything suitable for its time. Moreover, he has put a sense of past and future into their minds, yet they cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. This reading from Ecclesiastes talks about seasons. Now, seasons are very familiar to us in Canada. The cycle over and over. We don't plan them, God does, and we respond to them and live in them. The writer describes many facets of human life and indicates that there is an optimal time for everything. Often we don't agree with the reason given to us to live or the timing of it, but we can do nothing to change it. The writer lists many human activities involving all aspects of life, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. The scripture describes an overall balance to these times. For instance, time to be born, time to die, time to plant and a time to reap, a time to mourn and a time to dance. We have just heard them in the reading. A life is complex and includes many ups and downs, struggles, and times of relaxing and enjoying. The scripture says that all this busyness in our lives comes from the hand of God. But to what end? To love and serve the people he has sent to be with us in our lives. To bring our God, who is love, into a world